Now that the season is officially finally over, we can do what I've been wanting to do for a long time. We're going to be rating and ranking through a tier list every single player that's played for Chelsea this season on an individual basis. Whether you played 1 minute in the Conference League, whether you played all 38 games, you are going to get rated it. And it's going to be harsh. I'm not going to just let people off because we've had a good end to the season. I'm not going to forget what's been happening at the start of the season. Obviously, the Club World Cup impacts us a lot as well. I'm not saying it doesn't, and the end of the season does as well. But I'm going to be looking at the whole season. And also, I want to clear up that I'm going to be judging players off based on kind of the expectation we had for them before the season. So, for example, one of these players that maybe played 2 games in the Club World Cup and 1 in the Conference League, they're not going to be, graded down for that if that was their expectation. Like, for example, if an academy player only made 1 appearance and that was their debut, they'd just get put in C because you can't really put them in D because their expectation wasn't to be in the first team. And obviously we've got S will be amazing season, A will be very good, B will be just good, C will be mid, average, decent, to expectation maybe, and then D will just be not good. And yeah, also I want to clear up, this isn't pre-recorded or anything, I'm wearing the PSG top because I woke up and I just chucked it on just like completely oblivious to the situation. And then I went to school and then one of my friends was like, oh wait, you're wearing the PSG top. And I was like, oh yeah, what am I doing? But yeah, I couldn't be bothered to take it off at home. So, let's just get on with it. But also, PSG, this is a nice shirt. I want to wear it. And we're not enemies. We're just rivals. I mean, I like PSG. I haven't got a problem with them. We've done business in the past. They gave us Thiago Silva on a free. We gave them David Luiz. Then they gave him back. There's been some friendly rivalry there as well in the Champions League. But PSG, I consider them a friend of Chelsea Football Club, so I will be continuing to wear this in future videos. But yeah, let's get straight into this. I've already done the first few players because I've just recorded this and I realized I wasn't wearing my microphone, so I was a bit upset with that. But anyways, here we go again. It's only the first 5 players that I had already done. So yeah, Levi Cole, I put in A tier because he's captained us at times this season. He stepped up from when he was at Poch, and he just looks a lot more comfortable in the system under Maresca, where when Cucurella is inverting or pushing forward, Cole can shift into that left back role. And obviously, naturally, he's on the left as a centre back. And he's just been very solid. He gets his head on clearances. He gets his head on crosses. He is good at clearing the ball, good at intercepting passes. And he's an all-round great defender. But then also on the ball, he's got the midfield splitting passes in his locker as well, which are so good to see from. And it's what you expect from a modern centre back. And he's really shown that he is almost at an elite level now at that. And to be honest, if he continues growing like this, he could really become an elite centre-back in the future. And I think he's been our best centre-back this season. And our most consistent one. We've had a lot of centre-backs problems, and they're going to come up later. But he has been there since the start. He has been a staple in the squad, and he will be for many years. So yeah, A tier for Cole. Also got the goal against Nottingham Forest. Let me not forget, that got us to the top 4. So yeah, he's Chelsea. He's an academy player as well. So you got to give him respect for that. But yeah, Levi Cole, A tier. Next we got Reece James, another academy boy, another guy who's captained us at times this season, and another player who's going to go in A. I'm going to put him behind Levi Cole. And a lot of you will be looking at this and thinking maybe he should be lower. Maybe someone you'll be thinking he's higher, but I'm going to explain why he's in A. My expectation, I don't know about yours, but my expectation for Reece James before this season was that he was going to get injured again. In the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, he's going to be playing maybe 2 games every 7 games. And I was thinking, look, as long as he can just not get a career-ending injury, at this point, I'm fine with him. But look, it was looking as if it was like that for the first half of the season. He was missing many games. He was getting back and then being away for 5 games. It was the same that we've seen the past 2 seasons. But this second half of the season, the way Maresca's managed him, you got to give him credit. Because he's been moved into that midfield role. He's inverting a lot more. And although it's not his natural position, he's still comfortable there. He can still make great passes. He can still be impactful. And we've seen that at times this season. The assist for Cucurella against Man United. What a moment that was. And he's had some big moments as well with the free kick against Bournemouth, the free kick against Benfica. This guy reminded us of who he was this season. Made his most appearances in the Prem season for the last 3 seasons. I think it was 19. And yeah, man, it's just Reece James. And I really hope next season he can actually elevate that and start playing 25 plus games because he is so good when he's fit and playing. So A tier for him, in my opinion, because he did miss half the Premier League season, so I can't really put him in S. And next we got Delap. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but the new signings who only played in the Club World Cup will be getting judged and based off of just the Club World Cup. So, Delap for me had a good Club World Cup, so I'm going to put him in B. I'm not taking into account his time at Ipswich, none of that. It's just the Club World Cup. And look, he scored 1 goal against Tunis, scored an assist on his debut against LAFC. I think it was quite quiet against Benfica and Palmeiras, and then was suspended for the semi-final. But in the final, he had a great little cameo towards the end. Maybe should have scored, could have scored twice, but he was rattling the opponent, getting in their heads. That's something we've seen a lot as well. He's great at the mind games, and he was winning fouls. He was holding up the play. He wasn't losing the ball very easily, and that's just all you want in a big striker like Delap. And yeah, I think this tournament we've seen real glimpses of his potential, and he's going to go in B for me. Next, we've got Josh Achampong, another academy player. This time, this was kind of his breakout year. We got to see a lot of him in the Premier League and even the Conference League and the Club World Cup. And he's been looking really solid, guys. At times, this guy, he just picks up the ball in our defense, dribbles into the other team's half effortlessly before finding a perfect pass. He's just really composed, and he epitomizes the modern centre-half. He can also play on the wing. He can also, not the wing, sorry, full back, out of possession or in possession. He can play with the ball at his feet, and he's just a solid defender as well all round. And I'm going to put him in B just above Delap because obviously he's played quite a bit more this season. But obviously, he's also exceeded expectations. No one expected Josh Achampong to necessarily have the impact he's had. And although it's not been a massive impact, he's had a solid impact, especially in the Conference League. So I got to give him credit for that. And he's definitely one to watch for the future. Next, we've got Aaron Anselmino, who's going to go in C. Played 1 game, I think it was like 4 minutes against Benfica in extra time. Next, we've got Mykhailo Mudryk. He's going to go in D, unfortunately, our first D of the day. And can you really blame me? I mean, this guy has so much to prove this season. And we just all know what happened. He's didn't play for the last 7 months because he's out, banned. And we don't even know how long the ban's going to be because it's ongoing. The investigation's ongoing. This is what is crazy. The 4 years haven't even been started yet, I don't think. So, yeah, man, we don't know if it will ever happen for Mudryk at Chelsea now, which is sad. Had some goals in the Conference League, but overall just didn't have the impact you'd want from your number 10 this season. And yeah, it's sad. What's happened to Mudryk is really sad, guys. Next, we've got Mamadou Sarr. Again, pretty much just the same as Anselmino. Played 1 game, I think, in the Club World Cup, and that was off the bench. But again, one for the future. Next, we've got Philip Jorgensen, who was signed from Villarreal last summer for around 25 million euros. He was supposed to be the second goalkeeper, but a lot of us kind of thought he might challenge Sanchez for the number 1 because obviously Sanchez didn't have the best 23-24, and Petrovic actually took the number 1 spot away from him for quite a while. We thought Jorgensen could do the same, and just when it seemed as though Jorgensen had finally got the up-in over Sanchez because Sanchez was going through some really bad form, Jorgensen has a howler against Aston Villa in the last minute where Asensio scores the winner. And it was a shame. But again, I think he was actually quite solid this season. And although he didn't play much, only 6 Premier League appearances, I think it was, he was pretty solid when he was called upon. And I think the highlight of the season for him was the Conference League final where Maresca trusted in him. He started him and he made some pretty big saves, only conceded 1 goal, which was a good finish. And yeah, he was solid that game, and overall he's been pretty decent. But I would have liked to see a bit more from him. Or I would have liked to have seen a bit more from him. Maybe we will get to next season, but again, we're just talking about this season right now, and I think he's just going to go and C for me because he didn't really exceed my expectations. He was just a second choice keeper. And next we've got Sam Raksaki, I think that is. I don't know if I pronounced that well, but again, another academy player who came in, I think made 1 Conference League appearance for his debut off the bench. And it's always good to see these young guys getting opportunities, but it's going to have to go into C, obviously. But yeah, again, one to watch. And I think we're going to have to put our second player in D, which is Axel Disasi. And look, whether you want to call him Axel Disasi, some prefer to call him Axel Disaster. He was only at Chelsea for 6 months this season, and the only memory I have of him was that pass back which completely flopped against Ipswich, and then that led to the second goal from Murray Hutchinson. And look, that was my least favourite game the whole season. We were on such good form then, and we went into that game when Ipswich hadn't won a single game at home, and we just lost 2-0. And considering we were playing guys like Disasi, no wonder we lost. But yeah, he had some good performances in his first season, but this second season's gone horribly wrong. And I think when we loaned him to Aston Villa, he actually weakened them. I think he actually helped us qualify for Champions League because he probably brought Aston Villa down. I don't even think he played well for them. But yeah, purely Chelsea, he's in D. Next, we've got Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto is a really interesting one because he started off the season quite frustratingly, quite inconsistently. Wasn't really it was finding it tough to get into the starting lineup. When he was in the starting lineup, he was sometimes on it, sometimes not on it. But he's ended this season so well. And I'm not just talking about the Club World Cup. I'm talking about the goal against Fulham, which completely shifted the tide. It completely put us back into top 4 contention, or top 5, whatever you want to look at it. And just kind of gave us that fresh wave of energy and motivation that we needed. It was a huge goal against our rivals away. And it was a great goal as well. And then got an assist against Nottingham Forest, a crucial one for Levi Colwill. And other goals he scored against Arsenal to equalise. That was a big goal. And it was a great goal as well. Scored against West Ham. And I can't remember what the other goal was. I think he scored 4 league goals though. But yeah, he's had his moments. And obviously the Club World Cup, he's been on fire. He's been our top goal scorer, I think, joint with Pedro and Palmer. I think they've all got 3. And yeah, especially in the group stages when we were kind of playing a bit sluggishly, weren't really on it. And then also against Benfica, he was always the highlight of each of those games. So I got to give him his credit where it's due. I think overall I'm going to put him in B though, but I'm going to put him top of B, obviously, over these guys. Because our expectation was quite high. We signed him for like 60 million and we were all gassed when we signed him. It was a position we needed to strengthen. And he didn't really play like a £60 million player for enough of the season for me to put him at A. When he was on it, he definitely showed us that he can be that. And I do hope that he gets to show that more next season as well. But from what we saw, I'm going to put him in B. Next, we got Tyreek George, who again is another academy player who broke into the squad to a similar extent as Ashampong, just obviously different positions. And I mean, I've loved this kid. Like, honestly, I just spoke about Neto scoring against Fulham. In fact, you can even look further back than that. Tyreek George's equaliser in the 80th minute against Fulham. What a finish that was. That is what changed the tide. That is what changed the tide. We were dead that game. We were beaten. We were out. If we lose that game, we don't qualify for Champions League. We go into Conference League final with poor morale. We go into Club World Cup with poor morale. Players are more unhappy. This guy, no one gives him enough credit for that. Scored a goal as well in the Conference League. But overall, I'm going to put him in B, just above his mate, Josh Ashampong, because of that moment. But again, obviously didn't play much because he's young. Probably will get loaned out. Maybe not. We'll see. But he has had a very, very big impact. Whether it be a small moment, that it was a big. It's going to have big repercussions in the future for sure. Next, we've got Enzo Fernandez, who, before I put him in a tier, I'm just going to talk a bit about what Enzo Fernandez has done this season, just to remind myself. 2 goals against Spurs. Both of them, I guess you could look at them as winners because we only beat Spurs by 1 goal in both games, 1-0 and 4-3. So if he scored in both those games, technically he helped us win it, especially in the 1-0. And obviously he's been scoring a lot this season and assisting, box crashing against Aston Villa. He scored twice, scored against Leicester. Club World Cup, he got a goal as well against LAFC. I don't know if he scored any other ones though. But yeah, he has been there this season. He has stepped it up, captained the side again quite a few times. And he's really shown great leadership, great character development, and he just loves the club, man. And it's good to see, the emotion after the Club World Cup final as well. And yeah, this guy loves the club, bro, and we love him. We love him. He's been here since the start, and the start of this new era. He joined in January of 2023, and that was when we finished 12th that season. And he was clearly the best player in a squad of absolute mediocrity. And he stuck with us. He didn't complain, didn't kick up a fuss. Even next season, didn't kick up a fuss. But this season, he's really, elevated himself alongside the squad. So, yeah, he's no longer kind of the sort of droplet of gold in just a pile of horse poo. He's just kind of now a brick of gold in a whole house of gold. So I know we're not that good yet, but no, we are. We just won the Club World Cup, man. Let me gas us up a little bit. He's going to go into A. Sure, no, I'm going to put him above these 2. Yeah, he's had a huge impact this season. A huge impact. In fact, could I put him in S? Because I expected, to be fair, he's an £100 million player. His expectation was that he was going to improve from last season, and he did. But he did quite a lot, so I'll put him in A, but not quite S. Next, we've got Andre Santos. We got to see him play a few times in the Club World Cup. He's going to be obviously a big player for the future, but again, just judging him on the Club World Cup, he only played like 3 games and they were all off the bench. Actually, no, he started against Palmeiras, I want to say, or Benfica. He started in one of those games, which Reece James was out for. Maybe it was actually Fluminense. But he was very decent every time he played, I think. He got an assist against Tunis, and he was very, very good against PSG when he came on. I was surprised. Obviously, he played them for Strasbourg and scored against them, I think, as well. But he really impressed me at how he coped with that intensity of press. And he was looking very good alongside, having to go up against players like Vitinha, Joao Neves, these guys. He held his own very well. So just judging him off this Club World Cup, purely I'm going to go top of C because he didn't play enough, in my opinion, but when he played, he was decent. So I'll put him over Philip Jorgensen. Next, we've got Carney Chukwuemeka, who is sad, man. It's sad. He's going to have to go in D because he's not like an academy player. He played one game in the EFL Cup and then got loaned out to Dortmund, I think, in January or something like that. But it's not like an academy player who can get away with just playing one game and then getting loaned out. This guy, start of last season, 23-24, I'm on about, he was looking like he could be a starting name on the team sheet week in, week out, but then the injury, man. And then this season, it obviously just didn't work out under Maresca either. And it's sad. Yeah, he's going to have to go in D. I'll put him... Actually, no. Can I put him above the Sassy? He only played one game, though. I'll put him above the Sassy. I don't want to see the Sassy anywhere near anyone else on this team. Next, we've got Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, who a lot of people question why we signed him. A lot of people still do question that. But I think he joined and did his job. I don't want to focus too much on the fee. It was only like 30 million. Maybe a bit too high, but he's a good player. And if he was at any other Premier League side, maybe outside the Big Six, he could easily start, I think, for most sides. And when he was called upon, he was reliable. Conference League especially, he was reliable. Scoring some very, very big goals. I think he probably should have won Player of the Tournament. So, Dewsbury-Hall, for me, did his job when called upon. He's going to go in C, probably above Jorgensen for me. Actually, no, I'll put him above Andre Santos as well, yeah. Next, we have got Muka. And I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not great with pronunciations, but Mheuka. I think that's Muka. But again, only played one game, I think, in the Prem. I think it was against Southampton where he got subbed on in like the 80th minute or something like that. So we'll just put him at C alongside the other academy boys. Next, we've got Trevor Chalobah, another academy boy, but obviously he's graduated now. He's one of the big boys. And we loaned him out to Palace at the start of the season. And then we realised we've got no centre-backs. So we brought him back in January. And guys, never make this mistake again. This guy just started against PSG in the Club World Cup final against Dembele, against Doué, against Kvaratskhelia, and he kept a clean sheet. And he was absolutely wonderful. And he's just a great all-round player. On the ball, off the ball, he's just there. And he can pop up with a goal as well. I don't think he has done this season because it was only a half season, but he has in the past. But in terms of this season, when he's come back, I'm going to judge him only on the 6 months and the Club World Cup. He's been great. And I hope we keep him for next season because he adds really good depth in a position which is very, the players who are there, very inconsistent. It's only really Colwell and Tosin that, apart from Chalobah. So I hope we keep Chalobah. And I just remember that game against Wolves, the first game when he came back from loan. And he was just so good, man. Should have scored as well. Madueke robbed him off that goal, man. So annoyed at that still. But I think he was man of the match that game. And he was just reminding us, like, why did you loan me, bro? Why? Never doubt me again. That's what you were saying to the owners, pretty much, and the manager. But yeah, overall, I think he's had a B season. He's had a big impact. I'm going to put him below Neto, though. But I think he's had a big, big impact this season for us when he's played. Next, we've got Cesare Casadei, who I think played one game in the League Cup and then a few in the Conference League off the bench or starting. We sold him in January to Torino. It's sad because I really gassed up this player when we signed him back in 2022. But it just wasn't meant to be. And I guess that's also on us as well. We didn't really give him any chances, especially not this season. Only played 6 months. I think I'm going to put him in D because he played a bit more than Chukwuemeka, so I'll put him here. But his expectation was probably to kick on, right? He just had a few loans the seasons before as well. But no, didn't really break into the first team in the league at all. Next, we've got Robert Sanchez. I could go on about this guy for days this season because at the start of the season, first half, heck, maybe even the first 2/3, this guy was the definition of inconsistent. One game, he'd make a game-winning or game-saving stop. For example, Nico Williams of Nottingham Forest had a 1-1 with him. It was probably, I was like, this is going in. We're losing the game. He makes a world-class stop. He has that in his locker. He's had it his whole time at Chelsea. But this season, he'd do that one game, and the next, he would just gift the other team a goal. Like, he just lose concentration for a moment, or he just play a bad pass, or he just wouldn't come out off his line. So many mistakes, and this guy was probably the most hated player in the whole team for that time. But this guy's redemption arc has been a joy to watch. It's been absolutely fantastic to see. And I'm talking about not just the Club World Cup final, where he was world class, by the way. It was amazing. I'm also talking about the end to the Premier League season. He was getting clean sheet after clean sheet. Man United, Nottingham Forest, Everton. These were all 1-0 games where if one thing goes wrong, the other team equalises and we don't qualify for Europe. So he's been so solid for these last few months. And look, I said after my reaction to the win yesterday against PSG that we should keep him next season as our number one. And that was obviously reactionary. Now we're looking back on it, I would like to see maybe some competition for him in goal. But guys, I think we should stick with him. I do think we should give him one more year because he's earned it. I really do think he's earned it. And overall, guys are going to hate me for this. I'm not going to put him in A, but I think I'm going to put him in B above Trev, man. I do. I think this guy is actually, although he's cost us a lot this season, guys, look where we are. We finished 4th, won the Conference League, won the Club World Cup, and he can be credited with helping for most of those things. Maybe not the Conference League because he didn't play in the final or play much at all. But Premier League top 4 and Club World Cup, this guy deserves his plaudits. So yeah, B tier for him. Without all those mistakes, he could be A, bro, easily. Mark Guéhi just played in the Conference League, played like 2 Prem games. Unfortunately, got injured for the whole second half of the season, so he couldn't contribute as much in the Conference League as he would have liked to. But I think he was actually our top goal scorer in the competition. He scored a hat-trick against Shamrock Rovers. I think he scored against Astana as well, a few other teams. But yeah, this guy, although looks very shaky in his first game against Servette, where he had that chance where he went round the keeper and then missed one of the easiest shots of his life. But when he really got comfortable playing in the Conference League, you saw his pressing, you saw his energy that he brought to the team, and it's just desire to get the ball back and score a goal. So yeah, he's been very, very decent, and I'm just going to rate him on the expectation because I didn't expect it. We signed him for 5 mil. I first expected to loan him. When we didn't loan him, I didn't expect much from him at all. But he really did exceed my expectations in the Conference League. He was scoring goals. And after that first game against Servette, like I mentioned, I wasn't expecting that. So I'll probably put him bottom of B. I think he's got a future at the club, certainly, even as a role player. Next we've got Moises Caicedo. There's nothing more I can say on this player that hasn't been said already. Best CDM in the world. Best CDM in the league, that's for sure in my opinion. And look, obviously we don't like to use the word CDM much. It's quite, it diminishes his actual role. He attacks, he contributes to the attack, he contributes to the defense, he contributes everywhere. This guy's everywhere. He's a Kante regen, guys. And a lot of people maybe criticize that comparison, but I do think he has a lot of similarities. Elite ball winner. On the ball, he's great. He covers every blade of grass. He doesn't tire out. He's so durable. Even more than Kante. He doesn't get injured. The guy doesn't get injured. There's been times in the Club World Cup, in the Prem, I thought, oh, this guy's ACL is gone. This guy's Achilles is gone. No, he just gets back up and keeps on playing. And big moments. Man United equaliser for his goal as well. But yeah, Ines, easily. Ines. You don't hear the transfer fee with this guy anymore. You don't hear how much money it was because of how he's played. So this guy, S for me, for sure. Next we've got Nicholas Jackson, who started the season like a house on fire, scoring goals every game pretty much, with Cole Palmer linking up, getting assists. Big games as well, scored against Liverpool, brace against West Ham. He was just looking really good. Newcastle as well, scored the goal of the month. Probably wasn't because of the finish, but there he is, his goal. And he was just looking like a new striker. We looked like we finally found our man up top. And although the season before he was quite inconsistent, it looked like at the start of this season, we're finally going to get a consistent version of Nicholas Jackson. And then obviously we went on the bad run of form where he was injured for a lot of it. And then he just came back and he just wasn't the same. He scored that goal against Everton, which is probably his best goal in his Chelsea career. But didn't kick on, got red carded against Newcastle. And then again against Flamengo. My head was so hot after those 2 cards because they came at big moments when we needed him. And yeah, it's been a tale of 2 halves for Nicholas Jackson this season. I think overall though, I'm going to put him in B, in between Sanchez and Chalobah. I think him and Sanchez are very similar in terms of their inconsistencies, just different positions. Nicholas Jackson, one game, just decided he wants to be on fire and get an assist and finish a one-on-one with a keeper and win us the game. And then the next game, or even the next moment, he'll just miss a complete tap-in that that a 5-year-old could put away and potentially cost us the 3 points. So, yeah, man. And now his future looks in doubt because of that. So, yeah, I'm going to put him in B, but even that might be being a bit too kind. Maybe I should put him a bit lower. Maybe I should put him below Trev. But he got 10 league goals. He was decent. For a large part, he was very good, actually. So, I'll put him in B, man. I'll put him in B. Next, we've got Ben Chilwell, D. Played 1 game. Then completely fell out of the running and then got loaned to Crystal Palace. Next, we've got Reggie Walsh. 16-year-old. This guy's younger than me by over a year. It's just crazy. And he played one appearance in the Conference League. I want to put him in D just because he's younger than me and he's playing for Chelsea. Like, that shouldn't be allowed. 2008. Like, this guy is born 2008. I know I'm young. I'm 2007, but this guy's 2008 and he's playing for Chelsea in Europe. I need to rate it, bro. He's going in C. In fact, put him above all these other guys, bro. He's doing his thing at 16. Anyways, next we've got Dario Sugo, only played in the Club World Cup. He's a new signing. A few cameos here and there. Not much to say, though. He'll go in C, but I'll put him. Yeah. Next we've got Christopher Nkunku. Another disappointing season from a player we had high expectations for. I remember the start of the season. Guys were putting him in their Fantasy Premier League starting lineup. He didn't even start in the Premier League for the first few games. There was a point when he was our top goal scorer because he was just scoring bears in the Conference League and he got a few goals in the Prem as well. But overall, I think he ended the season on like 3 Prem goals, maybe 4. And like half of them came against Southampton. So, nah, man, it's not been Nkunku's season at all. He got a big goal against Benfica in the Club World Cup. I'll give him that. I think that was the one to make it 2-1. Yeah, so that was the winner. So, respect for that. But overall, it's probably been a D season for him. I can't lie. And I'll put him top of D. I don't know what's happening there, but I'll put him top of D. But yeah, it's not been great in terms of expectation and all we had for him. Yeah, he just doesn't know where to play on the pitch, bro. And I don't think Maresca knows either, so he's probably out. Next, we got Amagu, who I feel so bad for, bro. He signed in January and left already. He's already gone to Strasbourg. We've got the buyback clause, but he's gone. And I think he played 20 minutes in the league. So yeah, bro, we'll put him in C, I guess. Next, we got Jadon Sancho, who we signed on loan from Manchester United. I personally didn't like the signing at first. I obviously saw him at United. He wasn't great. I thought he'd bring a lazy attitude. I thought he just, maybe because it was a loan, he wouldn't try as hard and this and that. But I think he proved me wrong. I think certainly at the start, he started very well. Got like assists in his first 4 games, I think, in a row consecutively. And he scored against Tottenham as well. That was a huge goal. Then kind of went on a rough patch. Wasn't getting the starting lineup as much. And then he popped up at the end of the season with a big goal against Ipswich as well. And in the Conference League final. So he had his moments, but he also was inconsistent. It wasn't a Jadon Sancho that we saw at Dortmund, of course. It wasn't near that. So, you know, after the Club World Cup final, after the Conference League final, when I was seeing the trophy picks and I saw him score and I saw him pat the badge, and, you know, I was obviously feeling good about the win. I was like, keep him. I was a bit reactionary. I thought, you know, maybe he'd play a role next season. I like Sancho now. He's a player who he's done well for my club, and he showed us love. He showed us a commitment, and he gave us good performances. But now looking back on it, I think it's a good decision to sell because he didn't do enough to warrant a place over guys like Gittins, over guys like Esteval who are coming in now, and even Neto. So Sancho for me is probably going to go in B, which is still good. Like, it's decent, and I'll just put him below Chalobah there. He had his moments. Cucurella. I think Cucurella is going to be the second guy to go into S. I think he is. He's going to go below Caicedo. He is. But there's nothing wrong with that. Let me just speak on Cucurella though. This guy this season has been a completely different player. Since winning the Euros, this guy's been on a rage baiting tour. This guy is such a good rage baiter. Every fan was booing him, and that would just fuel him. He would play so good every time we went away just because the fans were giving him noise. He'd rattle the opponents. He'd get people to pull his hair and all this and that. And rival fans hate him. But if a rival fan hates one of your players, that's a good sign that they're doing something right. And let me just not forget just his quality. I mean, he's been so good defensively. Locked up some of the best wingers. Doué the other day. Locked up Saka. Locked up Salah. Locked up Esteval. I mean, this guy has just been so good defensively. And offensively as well. That's the thing. He's also contributed to the attack. Who would have thought? Scored quite a few in the Conference League. Scored 5 in the league. The goal against United was the highlight. I mean, what a goal. What a goal. Who would have expected Cucurella to get on the end of that? And it was beautiful to see the 2 fullbacks combine there, Reece James to Cucurella. And that got us top 4. S tier season from Cucurella. And he's been good in the Club World Cup as well. S tier. And this guy for me is probably the best left back in the world now. Jamie, do you think that? Nuno Mendes is probably up there for sure. But bro, Cucurella, when they came head to head, obviously, they didn't actually come head-to-head, but when Chelsea played PSG, Nuno Mendes got absolutely smoked, and this guy was on it. And obviously got the red card to Joao Neves for the little hair pull, just diabolical behaviour, but that's what he does, the mind games. Next, you got Wesley Fofana. Such a talented centre-back, would start for us easily if he's fit and if he's on his best, but that just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. He played like, what, 8 games? The season before he played 0 games. He's been in the club for 3 years and he's played like 20 league games. It's just not going to happen, I don't think. But anyways, this is not about the future. It's about this season. When he played, he was solid, but he didn't play. That's the thing. He played like I said, like 8 games in the league, 2 games in the conference league, maybe, whatever. But yeah, bro, I'm going to have to put him in D. He's had a D season. I don't know where I'd put him, probably below Nkunku here. Because he's not, out of these players in the D, I feel harsh for putting him in the D, because he's better than every player in the D. And he's probably better than every player in the C as well. But it's just we don't get to see that enough. And this season, we have not seen that enough at all. At all. I hope he comes back next season and does well. But for now, it has to be a D season. Next, we got Renato Veiga, who was another one of those players who was here for 6 months and then went on loan to Juventus. I think he was a solid little backup, left back and also centre back. for Correa. Had some games in the Prem where he played decently. Got some goals in the Conference League as well. So yeah, overall, Renato Veiga did his thing for those 6 months. But he didn't play a huge role in the squad, don't get me wrong. So I think I'll put him in C, just below Philip Jorgensen. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Next, we've got Tosin Adarabioyo, who, I mean, he's just completely flipped expectations. Like, if we're just talking about expectations, this guy, when he signed on a free, I was like, what are we doing? We've got Badiashile, we got Fofana, we got Chalobah, we got Colwell. Why are we signing this guy? He's not even that young. But he's been, I think he's made the second most appearances in the league out of all our centre backs. It's insane how consistent this guy's been, how willing he's been to step in when we need him, how solid he's been at times. The Nottingham Forest game at the end of the season alongside Colwell, what a performance. And he's just, again, like most of our defenders, he's just so good on the ball and he's just so incisive as well. And who could forget the brace against Morecambe in the FA Cup? 2 goals outside the box. What a guy, man. What a guy. This guy has exceeded expectations. And in fact, do I put him at 8? I might put him at 8. I'm going to put him at 8 below all of them because, I'll tell you why. Because his job was to cover. He did more than that. He wasn't just a backup. He played the majority of games this season. And he was there in big moments. He was there in big games in the Club World Cup. And he completely exceeded my expectations when he played. He was class. He's been class. I can't remember really a big bad moment from him this season. A big mistake. He's just been so solid. And for the free as well that we got for him. Like, give Fulham another £0 for real. Worth every penny that we didn't spend. Next we got Cole Palmer, who a lot of people say maybe didn't have his best season. And I agree. This season wasn't as good as his first season for Chelsea. But look, like I said at the start of this video, I'm judging players based off expectation. A lot of you might think that means I'm going to put Cole Palmer in A. But it doesn't. I'm still going to put him in S. I don't care. In fact, I might even put him ahead of Cucurella. I think I will. Because how could I not put a player who scored 4 goals and a half in S? How could I not put a player who got 3 goals and assists against the best team in the world in the Club World Cup final into S? How could I not put a guy who scored a dink, Panenka, against Spurs in it? Like, this guy has just still had a great season. I don't want to hear it. Even when he's not scoring, he's contributing one way or another. So he's our guy, bro. He is our guy, and he's an S tier again. S tier. Next, you got Malo Gusto, who at times this season has been really frustrating. Most times this season has been very frustrating. He's picked it up a lot the last few games in the Club World Cup. Very good in the final as well. Started that game. But guys, let me not make me forget this whole season for Gusto. He's not been good. He's not been very good at all. And he's not been awful. I don't even think he's been bad. He's just not been good. And he hasn't... The expectations I had for him was to kick on from the season before, which he was class at. But this new system of inverting, it just doesn't suit him. So I think I'm actually going to put him in C. And I'll just probably put him above Renato Veiga there. Maybe above Jorgensen and Andre as well. And then you got Badiashile. You know what's crazy about Badiashile? He's played 5 Premier League games this season. 5. Even I didn't think it was that little. He's going to have to go ahead in D as well alongside Wes Fofana, man. I'm sorry. He's looked decent at times, like, again, when he plays, but it's like Wesley Fofana. It's not when he plays, it's if he plays. And he doesn't. So he has to go in D, unfortunately. Next, you got Madueke, who, look, let me not make this, bitter ending to his time at Chelsea impact my rating. It's still not really a great season for Madueke, though. Like, after the hat-trick against Wolves, you'd expect him to maybe get like 12 league goals, to probably have an A-tier season, to really develop into that next gear. He hasn't done that. He's got 2 goals in the whole of 2025. He's regressed as the season has gone past. I think he's overrated as a dribbler, as a as taking players on. He's not that good at that. And that is what a lot of people say is his strength. So I don't rate him. I actually don't. And I have said I didn't want him to leave. And I didn't, to be honest. I like him as a dressing room presence as well. He's a class guy. He looks like a nice guy. And he's a funny guy. And he's a good player as well, don't get me wrong. But I think he's a bit overrated. And I don't think he's had a great season. That being said, it's not been a bad season either. It's been good. He's been there at moments, like I said, the hat-trick. The goal against Forest to equalise. He's been there. So I'm going to put him in B. And I think I'll just put him ahead of Nico Jackson, maybe. Only Madueke's had a B this season. He's got like 7 league goals. It's been alright. Next, we've got Romeo Lavia, who, thank the Lord, has actually been able to play a few games this season. I think it's like 16 or 15, which is not bad considering he played 2 the season before. But he has class, isn't he? He just is really good at football. And I just hope he can stay fit for more next season. I'm not sure if he can. We'll see. But obviously this season, my expectation was that he played more than 15 games, to be honest. But at least he played something, and when he played, he was class. Liverpool away, what a performance that was. Spurs away, yeah. He's going to go in B for me just because of the injuries, but he could have easily been A. And I think I'll put him probably below Noni, Jackson, and Chalobah. I'll probably put him there purely because of the injuries. Player-wise, he's easily A tier in terms of how good the player is. But that's not what we're basing it off. We're basing just the season. Joao Felix is going to go in D. For me, yeah, he was only here for 6 months. Probably put him here just above Madrid. Scored 1 goal in the league on his debut, and then a few in the Conference League, but that's about that. That's about it. He went to Milan and yeah, didn't really do much at all for Chelsea this season. Joao Pedro, I'm just going to be basing him off the Club World Cup, and I'm going to put him in A. I don't care. I'm not going to put him in S, because I feel like these guys have earned it more, done in the Club World Cup and in the league, but purely off the Club World Cup, this guy's A. I'll put him just there. But yeah, what a guy, man. What a player. And the 2 goals against Fluminense on his first start, the goal in the final. This guy, we've got a player here. Obviously, there's not too much subject matter that I can talk about now. But the small time he's been at the club, he's had a big impact already. So he came in to win trophies, like he said, and he's already won 1. So this guy is so composed as a striker as well. And those goals that I just mentioned were all brilliant goals. So it's all you want in a striker: fast, good dribbler, good on the ball passer as well as decent, and a good finisher, which is the most important thing. So he's an A. And last thing, Enzo Maresca. I thought I'd just chuck him in there to give him an overall rating of the season. Now look, if you told me at the start of the season that we'd finish 4th and win the Conference League, I'd be like, good. That's the expectation. And that was still the expectation. And there was points in the season where I was like, he's not going to do either of those things. But he ended up doing it. And that's all you have to, that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. But then he went above and beyond that and won the Club World Cup and tactically outclassed Luis Enrique with one of the best teams in the world. So Enzo Maresca, man, you got my full credit and support and backing for next season, as well as most Chelsea fans, if not all, and the ownership, which is the most important thing. Enzo Maresca for me this season, 2 trophies, Champions League qualification. You, my friend, have had an A-tier season. I could have gone S just for the romance of it all. He's had an A-tier season. Exceeded expectations. Hasn't just met them. But yeah, guys, that is my rating and ranking of every single Chelsea player this season. Let me know who you agree with, who you disagree with. But yeah, it's been a good one. It's been a long one, but I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit.